You going to ask me if Trump's going to do a good job?
I want to hear what you think.
I think he's going to do a great job. I think it's about time we ran our country like a business and not put people in positions of power that bought their position into power. Donald Trump's putting people, he's even considering people he doesn't agree with because they're best for the job. And, you know, you need somebody like that. The days of you give us a big donation, I'm going to put your brother-in-law in charge of this. Well, I mean, that's garbage. You know, it's time you put your country first is what you should do. I think Donald Trump has ego enough where he does not want to leave without being the greatest president we ever... I mean, what's the guy? The guy had everything to lose. He's got nothing to win over this. You know, I mean, why would you have a great life, a billionaire with great kids? You can go golfing anytime you want. Why would you give all that up for death threats and people hating you when they all liked you? Doesn't make any sense. I think he really wants to do good, and I think people, if they take a pill and take a breath, chill out, give the guy a chance, and for once in your life, think about your country, not yourself.
Well, that take aged about as well as Conor McGregor's knees.
It's kind of like the choice is, let's see, do I want to poop my pants or do I want somebody else to poop my pants? So I don't know. I think I'll go with pooping my own pants. So that ought to give you an answer right there. So if you say, you know, I kind of like Trump. I kind of like some of the things he says, you know, and I think I'm going to vote for Trump. Yeah. You racist. Yeah, and you're always a racist. No matter what. If they don't agree with you, no matter what you say, they throw that out like it's, you know, and it's so frustrating. But, you know, Hillary will be the end of the country. That's all I got to say.
Ditto with this. With all that being said, is it any shock that he would echo stuff like this?
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to okay? It's true. It's true. Look at what's happening.
Because the woke represents a war on truth, we have no other recourse but to wage a war on woke. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
Children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. Children will be taught civic values for schools that want federal taxpayer funding. So as we close the Department of Education and we provide funding to states, we are going to make sure that these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology. For any nation to be successful, it cannot teach its children to hate themselves and to hate their country. So these are a few of the areas in which President Trump has fought the cancerous communist woke culture.
Well, in short, it shouldn't be. The 63-year-old comedian told Us Weekly, "We live in the United States of America. Somebody doesn't want to like your act, then don't go see that person's act. It's as simple as that." The next paragraph. "I don't worry about it," said Larry, who ranted about performing stand-up comedy in a so-called woke America. "I already got a pretty good built-in following, and I got some awesome fans. You know, if I think it's funny, I'm going to do it, and we'll see where it goes." He would go on to state, "If you let it bother you, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I think Shane Gillis pretty much proved to everybody that you can get canceled, and if you want to double down on that, that's what people want you to do because they're sick of it too." Shane Gillis got even more popular after he got fired from Saturday Night Live for being too woke from stuff he did 10 years ago, you know? And now look at him. Hey, as a side note, remember when Larry the Cable Guy's voice is all an act? And he doesn't even sound like that?
Might not realize is you don't have a Southern accent. How easily can you go in and out of it?
I can get into it easily. And I'm like I'm a linguist chameleon. I mean, I'll go to Wisconsin and I'll hang out with my cousin. Next thing you know, 2 days later, you know, I'm talking like I'm from, you know, Sorona, Wisconsin, because all my cousins talk like that. La Crosse, hey, let's go to La Crosse. You know, I just pick stuff up.
My dad was a backwoods preacher, so my dad had a little bit of Southern accent in him. He'd get to going, and school became school, and so he had a little bit of that in him. His family, they're all from Northeast Kansas, and they were all horse people and cattle, you know, that kind of stuff. So they had a little twinge, but when I moved to Florida is when I got it, because I was a country kid living in the country, loved livestock, and I gravitated to all the horse people, all the livestock people when I moved to Florida. Out in Loxahatchee, Florida, and you know, there's a bunch of country folks out in Loxahatchee. And I just gravitated to them, and I went to college in Georgia. I went to a Baptist college in Georgia.
Majored in drama and speech.
Drama
right?
and speech, yep. George Lopez, you ever hang out with George Lopez? George Lopez talked to you like this. Well, you know, we went, and then the minute one of his buddies goes by, hey.
Anywho, now Larry the Cable Guy joins Jerry Seinfeld in the war against woke.
Nothing really affects comedy. People always need it. They need it so badly, and they don't get it. It used to be you would go home at the end of the day, most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected, there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. When you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy. They move the gates, like in the scheme. Yeah. Culture, the gates are moving. Your job is to be agile and clever enough that wherever they put the gates, I'm going to make the gate.
I actually hate the Shane Gillis argument, and here's why. Shane Gillis, whether you like him or not, really got into bed with the Manosphere comedians, which he is firmly a part of. And some defenders will even say, oh, well, what about him and Matt's podcast about Epstein? Yeah, we covered it. Low bar, don't you think? Be against that? Ooh, you got me. But I go back to this. His Shane Gillis argument is kind of bad. Because this whole like anti-woke stuff, yeah, you're saying that he got a bailout from Joe Rogan, who platformed him, and Tony Hinchcliffe, who platformed him. That is who you are crediting with helping out Shane Gillis. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Shane Gillis, he could have some bangers, he could not have some bangers, but to say that that is your prime example of fighting against it, no. I will see your Shane Gillis and I will raise you Mark Maron. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.